Back from break. So Willie, you were saying um, the way you chose your mentor. In sports, we say the best ability is availability. And sometimes we choose mentors that are just not available. They don't have time for us. So how available was he when you needed him?
That's a very good question. Greg was available, very available, I'm going to say. He made himself available to me. And because I think he accepted me as a younger brother, okay? And I accepted him as an older brother, you know?
Mhm.
And the group, the PTSD group that we were both in at the VA hospital, we met 2 times a week, like I mentioned. We met on Mondays and Thursdays. So I had a chance to see him 2 times a week at the group setting. He had given me his phone number. And also, more importantly, he gave me a meeting schedule in Compton where his home group, AA home group, met a couple of times a week. So I had the opportunity to go out to Compton to be around other veterans that he also sponsored and mentored.
And the reason I asked that question is because I know we got mentors out there, and I want mentors to know this. Mentorship is two parts. You have emotional knowledge and you have the intellectual knowledge. Like, I know what to do. But what we say in life is we don't care what you know until we know that you care. So keep that in mind. So you're saying Greg offered both.
Absolutely.
He helped you with emotional knowledge, how to contain yourself.
He showed me a lot of brotherhood, okay? And not just lip service.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He really extended himself to me, and he was a prime example of what I need to do. He told me, Willie, take a look at your drinking, okay? If alcohol and substance abuse is doing more to you than what it's doing for you, and if you want some relief, this is what I've done.
Okay.
I've accepted these 12 steps in the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, okay? And that he also told me about the nicotine addiction that you and me was
Yes,
going.
1999.
1999, we were going to NA, Nicotine Anonymous.
Nicotine Anonymous.
I said, look, Greg, I'm also sick and tired of smoking these cigarettes. Can you help me? He said, look, the same 12 steps that got you off the bottle, apply the same 12 steps to that nicotine, to these cigarettes. And I did that. It wasn't easy, Manuel.
Oh, it wasn't easy.
I'd come home, from work, pouring down rain. I'd sit back here on the back and smoke, until one day I just got so tired, man. I said, I got to leave this stuff alone.
This is the way it was put to me. And this is what my life. My first drug was nicotine. 8 years old. I thought if I could smoke a cigarette, it'll make me a man. My childhood was so unhappy. And the last drug to give up was nicotine, 1999.
Yeah.
I was already 11 years sober.
Yeah.
But I finally did it.
Yeah, thank
So
God.
what I want to say, Willie, if you don't think it's genuine when I say you're a smart guy, you're better than me. You see what I'm saying?
I'm
Listen,
not going to say
this-
that. We all
Willie-
God's children. Man, we all are God's
But
children.
hold up. You were
There's
the
no
best
big
man
leagues.
at my wedding.
I
I
understand.
had
It was
a
a
lot of
privilege.
friends.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to ask Willie to be the best man at my wedding.
And I still got the pictures in the photo album in there too, just for the
See,
record.
this is the thing about mentors. When somebody asks you to mentor them, keep this in mind. What they're saying in essence in that moment, I think you're better than me. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're screwing up, if you're messing up, somebody been where you're trying to get to, there's nothing wrong with saying, you better than
I
me,
don't
Willie.
look at it
Help me
like
with
that.
this.
I don't look at it and say I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I'm looking to say, well, you got more experience in this area than I
Yeah.
do. It's not
That's
that you're
because you're a
better.
great guy. That's because you're a great guy.
No. It's that you may have had more experience in this
Yeah.
area that I'm
Yeah.
trying to aspire to get to. So I need your guidance.
See,
in
that's
how to
something I'm
get
working
there.
on. I'm challenged by significance. So I always want to be in a position where, I measure up.
Yeah.
But I want to come back to something. I want to come back to this book. The whole
Okay.
purpose why we're here. How much of this book is research versus me search?
I think it's 3/4 research, other books, other
Yeah.
newspapers
Mhm.
about current events that were taking place.
Yeah.
For example, in this book, when the KKK was back in South Carolina in the 90s, burning down our churches,
Mhm.
that was research.
Mhm.
But historically, I had read about incidences in history
Mhm.
where those type of incidences had been occurring all the time. So it gave me an opportunity to connect them,
Mhm.
to connect the presence, the newspapers that I was reading back in the 90s with all the church burnings and what have you. It gave me an opportunity to connect it with what I had been reading in university, From Slavery to Freedom, a book that I read by John Hope Franklin, very prominent black historian, and W.B. Du Bois, another prominent historian.
So 75% research, 25% me search.
Yes.
That's a good balance. Now I'm gonna come back to childhood. What we say about alcoholism, we say it's rooted in a narcissistic injury, usually in childhood. Like stuff's happening to us that change how we see ourselves. So we have to start telling stories about who we are. We start living an inauthentic life. It's like we just live to please others. We just live to fit in. So I want to say, where do you think yours started? Where do you think your alcoholism got going?
I'm going to say probably 1966. 1966. I joined a Little League baseball team in the community
Yeah.
growing up. And we were the East Chester Dodgers, the Little League baseball team. Now, after the game, we'd be walking back to our homes, and we had to pass by like clubs and bars, where we was selling alcohol.
Mhm.
And some of the old timers in there, the old drunks, I'm going to say, they say, "Hey, you Dodgers, come around to the back. Let us buy you a beer, because you guys really played a good game and you beat those Giants. You beat the Brooklyn South Chester
Yeah.
Giants. So come on, let's celebrate your victory." I think that's really where it took form. That's where it originated. Because like I mentioned, I come from a religious family, spiritual family. My mother and father was not alcoholic,
2-parent home.
2-parent home. And our grandmother lived with us too. She was singing the choir, dip snuff, and all that other stuff.
What
But
age was this?
me,
Yeah.
I was probably about 12, 13.
When did you concede to your innermost self that you're an alcoholic? When did that happen for you? Or give me a for instance where you couldn't deny it no more.
It was 1996. 1996, I had got arrested again. I had got rescued again in Santa Monica on the pier. And like I said, I went to jail. They took me, they protected me. They rescued me from me, okay? Because I was self-destructing. I was going to kill myself, had they not rescued me in 1996.
Sitting in jail, this occurrence came to you?
Well, looking at those bars, wondering how'd I get here again, and I didn't have to look very far. It's when I took that first one. When I took that first drink, it set off what I know now is this phenomenon of craving that I just kept going until I was in a blackout and not knowing what I was, doing. But
So-
I'm grateful for the Santa Monica Police Department,
Yeah.
since we're being honest here today.
But I met you before 96.
You did.
So I want to say those other trips. I met you in 88, I
You
think,
did, you did.
down there in Venice, California.
Yes, yeah.
So Westminster, right?
Yeah,
So we live
Westminster,
down there.
Yes, that's where
There's
you
a
met
bunch
me
of
at.
people not here no more. But
And the VA had, got me that place.
so I want to say 1988, what were those trips to recovery and rehabs about? So I want to know, for you to concede that you're alcoholic, you're beat, I got this thing, I need help. why do you think it took so long for you to realize that? Because you had been to rehabs a couple times before.
Well, it just the pain. The pain it just got so unbearable, you know. And I told myself I had to stop. The other times that I had attempted to stay stopped, I meant well. I wanted to do it, but I was going to say, now Bill Wilson in our literature, I might have mentioned this, he said we had warped our mind with obsession for destructive drinking, and only an act of providence can restore it. This act of providence to be in divine intervention to restore my thinking. He mentioned it casually, I'm going to say. He's lightly. He said we warped. We injured. We had brain injury.
Brain injury, yes.
Okay, and I couldn't understand what was being offered looking back. So that's the best I can answer that question.
Okay.
You know, I wanted it back then, 88, 87, but I just didn't have the ability. The clouds had not moved away enough. You know, I had not been restored enough in order for me to grasp what was being offered and to sustain it.
Yeah. No, my question is this. I grew up with I guess, no self-esteem. Some people had no self-esteem. So I want to say I had no self-esteem. So when I came here because of some criminal activity, I came here and I started to believe. It took me 9 months to believe what they were saying and believe that, yes, I am one of them. Like for real. Do you think having self-esteem as professorial as you are in your thought process, do you think that had a negative impact on you giving up drinking? Like the high self-esteem you had for yourself, do you think that impacted?
Well, I think it's the low self-esteem that I was experiencing kind of promulgated my debaucherous activity, I'm going to say, and not caring what happened, not caring about the outcome. Okay.